First of all, I do want to congratulate you on a very funny film. Wow. Um, Brandon, how did it fall into your lap? How did you get the idea for this and all of that?
So even growing up, I wanted to one work as a filmmaker, but two, I specifically wanted to work in comedy. And while I was in college, I had a friend who tossed the idea around to me of a pregnancy movie, and it kind of just marinated in my head for multiple years. It's just such a funny universal theme. And then as I got a little bit older and I had friends and family members, siblings who I saw firsthand dealing with pregnancies, some of them have, like, I'd say, some unexpected things that don't always go as planned. And pregnancy is a super serious thing. So I was really just trying to think of a way to put like a comedic twist on a pregnancy. And then that's really how the idea was born.
And Kate, boy, you've got such a great history both on stage and in film and television. Do you miss live theater?
I still do live theater. Actually, every December I go out on tour with Jane Lynch. We do a live concert from our Christmas album, but we have a lot of comedy in between the songs. So I was still doing my comedy lounge act for 20 years. I just stopped doing that 2 years ago during the pandemic. But yeah, I'm out a lot because I love a live audience. And I do have a lot of things to talk about because I'm old. But I will tell you, this movie was so fun. And it was so nice to get to play in South Jersey, Philly area. I'm from Philadelphia, but I've spent all my summers in South Jersey. So it was great to meet Brandon, and he went to St. Joe's, which is right near where I grew up. We're all we should be hanging out together all the time.
It sounded like you had a blast doing this. Did you end up as kind of like a family situation after take after take?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I knew Jamie Lee. I used to host a show on TV Guide Network called Stand Up in Stilettos. It was an all-female stand-up show. This was probably like 12 years ago, and I did a couple seasons. And it was Jamie Lee's first time on television. She told me we, yes, we had great women on that show. So it was nice to reconnect with her. And also, I got to remind Tom Berenger that we had worked together. Literally in 1982, I was an extra in the movie Eddie and the Cruisers. I was a featured
Wow.
extra. So I told the extras in the scene, the baby shower scene, I was like, this could be you in 40 short years, literally 40 years, like to the day. Crazy.
Tom Berenger can do anything. I mean, he's a dramatic actor. He's a comedian. It must have been like butter.
Yeah, it was awesome working with Tom. I grew up watching him, and you really know him as this serious action movie star, and he really was hilarious. He made up some funny improv lines on the day of shooting, and he was awesome to work with. Love to work with Tom again.
I was such a big fan of his work in The Big Chill. Like that's one of the few comedies, but he was so funny in that movie too. So he's got the chops. He got the job.
I was an extra in Rustler's Rhapsody, but nobody knows that movie. So I'm
Well, you never know. I mean,
you
with all
never
the streaming, you never know. Maybe it'll pick up steam. I don't know.
speaking of this cast that you have, which is John Heater and Shannon Elizabeth and everybody in it, you must have been off your seat. Did they did they do a lot of improv? Did they go off script all the time, or was it?
Well, it really depends. Kate, I certainly let Kate have a lot of fun. Jamie, who is in the main scene that Kate's in, they acted together and they had some great comedic moments together. Some of it was improv. A lot of the other stuff, though, it was mostly scripted for the most part. But again, we'd always get exactly what was on the page. And I'd say, hey, we got what we needed. Let's do a couple takes for fun. And there's certainly a decent amount of those fun improv lines made it into the movie.
Kate, tell me a little bit about your character that you're playing in this.
Well, publisher has a lot of power. When I was in the office, my character did not have a lot of power, so it's nice to play the flip side of the coin. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for trusting.
Wow. Do you enjoy the film process or do you enjoy television more?
You know what? I'm so lucky. I get to do so many different things, and I have to say, I really enjoy them all. It's hard to pick. It's like picking your favorite child. It's nice to be on a long running series. That's the dream because you never know what the character, you get to explore this character, and so does the audience, which is really fun for a long time. But the thing about movies, I'm such a movie fan, so I always feel so honored to be in a movie. And I used to wait on a lot of famous movie stars as they were aging in Hollywood. So none of it's lost on me. It is just great to be part of the process. And, I thought Brandon, he's young, he's smart, he's got some great instincts. And I just think he put together a really great group of people with a fun script. And, that's kind of all you can hope for. And with indie films, you have to be willing to take out the trash. No one can be a diva. No one. We all have to be in it together and do whatever we can to make it work, usually on the fly.
Have you in your career worked with directors who do not understand comedy, and does it become like going to the dentist?
I've been really lucky. So I have to say that's not really been my experience. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I will say, like, also in The Office, we got to work with so many great directors: J.J. Abrams, Jon Favreau, the great Harold Ramis. I mean, we had so many great directors. So I feel like, if I get hit by a car for real, not just on The Office, and I die, I did pretty well. So I'm good.
Good. That's a lovely sentiment to have. Brandon, is it a little undaunting to be a young director and going, onto set with Tom Berenger and with Shannon Elizabeth and with Kate Flannery?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely. The first couple days on set definitely had me a little bit nervous, just having John Heater, and then especially we had this big baby shower scene that Kate was in, Tom Berenger, John Heater, Shannon Elizabeth, all of our cast was in this one scene. So that was definitely a very hectic day. But as we continued the film, we did the entire movie in 15 days. I'd say by the end of the shoot, felt like a different person than I did at the beginning.
In what way?
Really just everything I learned through all of these different challenges that pop up on set. Because you might have a challenge that pops up on day one or day two. You don't really know how to handle it. And then by day 14 or 15, a problem pops up and you're like, all right, I learned from my mistakes early on. I'm going to do this differently.
Kate, are there moments when you're just laughing so hard that you can't you take after take after take?
You know what? I generally am not. I'm not a big laugher on set. It's not that I don't have fun, but I always feel like my character's in a drama. I also feel like because I'm so used to being in an ensemble, I don't want to mess it up for the other people. So I kind of have that in mind when I'm trying not to laugh, because if you mess up the take, like, especially if you're not doing most of the talking, you're making somebody do something completely all over again. And you don't want to do that. But yeah, I think, I'm such a fan of John Heater's as well. Like, he's Napoleon Dynamite is one of my all-time favorite comedies. And I think it holds up. I think it's one of the best. I think it's a classic. And if you've never seen it, run, don't walk. It's hilarious.
That was shot up the road here in Idaho. It's just
yes. Oh my gosh, so good with the llama, Tina. Oh my God. It's comedy classic for sure. No, he's the best. And John's a twin. I'm a twin. John's an identical twin. I'm a fraternal twin. But yeah, we bonded. We're just like this now. We're really close.
in the process of doing this film, Brandon, I mean, was there big auditions that went on, or did you just call up and say, Kate, I want you in this?
I'd say Kate certainly did an audition. There were so many great actors that I was just a fan of, and we really sent out offers. And I think pretty much all of my top choices wanted to do it. Everyone liked the script. We kind of all hit it off. And yeah, we had some auditions for some of the like day player roles that were local actors, but all of the main cast, I don't really think anyone auditioned.
Kate, how was that for you?
It's always nice to get an offer, especially when it's a good script. But I'm not adverse to auditioning. I still do a lot. So, and I get it. It's you want to show somebody what you can bring to it if they don't see it. So, luckily Brandon saw it. So that's good. My South Jersey buddy. Woohoo.
Yeah,
Brandon,
I saw for sure.
Brandon, you're a very talented director. I mean, I think that you are a student of 80s films, just because the way this was shot, it reminded me so much of some of those great, Robert Downey Jr. comedies, and, maybe Shelley Long. And, it just resonated with me.
Well, yeah, that certainly means a lot. I loved 80s movies growing up. I'm a big fan of the classic John Hughes comedy movies. I grew up watching them. I still watch them. And then even more recently, I'm a big fan of Judd Apatow style of comedy. So I really tried to learn from really great comedic filmmakers, and hopefully some of it shows in Plan B.
Kate, what do you think audiences are going to take away with them from watching Plan B?
Well, to have one, have a plan B, everybody. Don't just stick with plan A.
I
Come
think I
in,
have a Plan
watch
G.
the movie, it'll be, I mean, go, it's, it's a lot of fun. And, if you, I just feel like there's just some great performances in it, and, it's just it's a fun ride.
John does such a great job in this, is endearing himself to the audience, and that was so necessary in how this film played out.
He put the rom in the rom-com.
Exactly.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Otherwise, it's just a com.
When you're in the editing bay, Brandon, I mean, and you're watching this film basically get born, are you amazed at what the camera catches on your actors?
Yeah, I would say I was certainly amazed in the edit. There were certain things when we're shot with one camera. So when you're doing some different improv and things like that, sometimes you get a little bit worried, like maybe we don't have another character's reaction shot or something like that. But thankfully, we were able to get pretty much everything we needed in the edit. And even just on set, we have a monitor that I'm standing behind and watching. So as I'm watching that monitor, I knew that we had a really funny movie on our hands.
Do you, without giving, too much away, do you have a favorite scene?
Um, I'd say my favorite scene, I won't give too much detail, but there's a really nice emotional scene toward the end of the movie with Jamie Lee and John Heater, the characters are Piper and Evan, and they have a nice little heartfelt moment because it's not always super great for them earlier on in the movie. So it's nice to see them have some nice emotional moments together.
Yeah, I think I know the scene you're talking about, and it just, again, you have to have that kind of scene in it to put the icing on this cake.
Yeah, no, for sure. I will also say we have a fun scene in a nightclub that was a lot of fun to shoot as well. Just a lot of actors came in that day, and that was a lot of fun also.
Kate, I'm going to give you the final word in all of this. What fond memories are you going to have?
Well, like I said, I loved shooting. I love this group of people. We really had fun in a short period of time. And everybody had their head on straight. There were no divas, and I think it's important that the movie come before anybody's ego. And it was nice to shoot on the White Horse Pike. I mean, there's like places I grew up near there that were near and dear to my heart that I hadn't been in years. So, but I just think as an audience member, it's nice to have a movie that makes you laugh, but also has heart. I feel like it's hard to have one without the other and have me care at all. Like I really have to care about I have to be invested. So I think you will be. So watch Plan, but you're gonna have a great time.
People will. I'm highly recommending it. It is just so funny and so touching at times. So thank you both for your time. I know this was kind of a little bit of a juggle to set up, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks so
That's
much.
fantastic.
Bye
Take
bye,
care.
guys.
Thanks, Brandon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you.